Hi students, welcome to the chemistry sessions. So I hope everybody is revising what all sessions we are having, right? In each and every session, if we are discussing this particular session, you have to follow up the previous session so that you are able to connect it, right? That connection is very much required. So what have we discussed in the last session? Of course, we are going to start off with the condensation polymerization. We discussed about the step the chain growth polymerization basically. So what are we discussing today is about the step growth polymerization, right? So in addition polymerization, which we had discussed in the last session, we discussed about the HDPE, yes, high density polyethylene, LDPE we have discussed. So I hope everybody remembers that. We discussed about the Teflon. So you must have heard about the Teflon coating, yes. So Teflon coating, again, what kind of a material is used? Tell me that. So if I talk about the Teflon again, it has got tetrafluoroethylene. So what is it? Yes, are you able to make that, recall that or not? So that was Teflon. If I talk about HDPE, what kind of a catalyst is used? It's important one I had told you. So that is Ziegler-Natta. Ziegler-Natta catalyst is the one. Yes. So that is how different things were discussed in the last session. Let's move on further. What do we have? Okay. So we will be discussing about the condensation polymerization today, and condensation means I have to condense the two molecules. For that I need is the copolymers. If you know what copolymerization is, see here. For condensation polymerization, I need bifunctional monomers. Now, what are these bifunctional monomers? First of all, that one monomer should be having two functional groups. If just one functional group is there, it is not sufficient, right? Let us take an example in that. The example, the very important one, is a kind of polyester, right? Okay, before moving on to that example, let me just discuss that what all things we are going to cover up today, okay? So first thing which we are going to cover, or I can say it's included in the condensation polymers, is polyamides, polyesters, and resins, right? So we will be discussing these three things together, right? Now polyamides, we already have covered that. Polyesters, okay, let me just give you an example now, is included in the category of polyesters only. It's the preparation of, it's the formation of terylene, also known as Dacron. It's a very good polyester, right? It's crease resistance, it can be mixed, its fiber is very strong, it can be mixed with wool and silk, again giving it more strength, giving it more durability, right? So that is what this Dacron is. In Dacron, what do we have is two types of monomers. Two monomers are there. One, two. So first one is ethylene glycol. First one is ethylene glycol. The next one is the terphthalic acid. Right? What is this terphthalic acid? You must have done about the phthalic acid, yes? So phthalic acid, in phthalic acid I have got COOH groups which are adjacent to each other, right? But in terphthalic they are just the opposite. So just try to figure it out what will be the structure. Till then I am writing ethylene glycol. What is it? Yes, this is ethylene glycol. I hope everybody knows that. Ethylene glycol, if I am making it react with terphthalic acid, now phthalic acid, it has got a benzene ring. Let's draw a benzene, right? What else do I have? I have got acid, COOH groups, COOH groups, done. That is what the terphthalic acid is, right? So it's 1,4 dibenzoic acid. That is what it is. Now, if I talk about the bifunctionality over here, which I was talking about, the monomer should be, this is the monomer, this is the monomer, I am connecting the two, right? I am connecting n parts of them, I am connecting n parts of them. So, it should be bifunctional, that means it is having two functional groups, it is having two functional groups. If it would have been only one functional group, it would be very difficult, right? We must have discussed about that esterification part, right? If I have got, let us say, just one functional group over here and just one over here, right? Only these will be connected in the next step, and further the chain will not go on further, yes? If I talk about two functional groups over here and just one group present over here, just forget about it. So, only one here and two over here. So, what will happen? In the first step, this will get connected, fine. In the second step, what will happen? Another mole of this having OH will be connected with this, and in just two steps the reaction will stop. How will I be getting then polymer? Polymer means so many n number of units getting connected together. For that, I need is both of them having the two functional groups at least, right? Two functional groups will be there will be a lot of connections. So, this will be connected with this, right, and this will be connected further with another, this will be connected with further another, and further, and that is how the chain goes. What do we form over here in this compound? So, basically it is the temperature condition, it is approximately 420 to 460 Kelvin, right, that is just an approx that I am telling, along with a very important catalyst, that is, so we are going to heat it up. It's zinc acetate and antimony trioxide is the catalyst which is taken in this particular reaction. We get the connections. Try to make the connections over here, it's just the loss of water molecule. Yes or no? Yes. See here what gets formed. O, right, and CH2, CH2, O. Wait for a moment. So, it will be like, yeah, okay, wait, see here, I need to lose the water molecule. How I am going to lose it? Okay, COO, so, yeah. So, what will happen? This hydrogen will go off and these two, clear? Okay, yeah. So, we have made it correct, one oxygen was just extra, clear? Now, the remaining compound, what do we have? C, again double bond O and dash, which will represent n number of such kind of units getting together known as dacron. Clear? So, that completes my polymerization also, and yes, this is a polyester. So, let me just tell you over here that this is a polyester. So, see here what is happening is, what is condensation? Condensation basically involves the two molecules getting condensed, the two monomers getting condensed with the loss of a water molecule. Maybe it could be not water molecule, but let us say ammonia, let us say ethanol, right. So, condensation can involve the loss of water molecule, the loss of C2H5OH, ethanol can be there, and etc. And that is what the condensation is, right. And the mechanism which it follows is step growth polymerization. So, that is step growth polymerization, fine. So, I hope everybody is getting it. So, one of the examples of polyester I have discussed, fine. So, that is what polyester was, done. If I talk about now polyamides, right, okay, you want me to write down what all are the properties of the dacron. So, basically it is the crease resistant, mixed with wool, silk, etc., etc. Fine. So we are through with the polyesters. Let's move on to the polyamides. So we already have covered about polyamides. We have done about the nylon 6,6, nylon 6,10, nylon 6. So it's basically nylon 6,6, nylon 6,10, right? Remember this or not? And the third one is nylon 6. Okay. So just to recall once again, just tell me that what all are the monomers present in the nylon 6. So one is adipic acid, right? Other is hexamethylene diamine, fine. If I talk about nylon 6,10, what is it? It's the sebacic acid along with again hexamethylene diamine. If I talk about nylon 6, now comes up the use of caprolactam. We just have to heat this caprolactam and we get is my polymer. So basically what is caprolactam? It has got 5, 6, 7 membered ring it is first of all. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So it is something like this. I need over here is NH. I need over here is C double bond O. Yes, along with all of these CH2 groups placed. Clear? So this is what caprolactam is. We need to heat it up to get our polymer. Clear? I am not going to do it again for you. Fine? Okay, let me just remove this. Now let's talk about the resin part, and it's an important one. Mark this as important. Resins. In resins, I'll be discussing about the phenol formaldehyde resin, right? Phenol formaldehyde resin, in which we will be talking about two. One is the Novolac, the other one is the Bakelite, right? Novolac and Bakelite. Novolac and Bakelite. Okay. And one more resin will be melamine formaldehyde resin. And it's just the one which we are going to discuss. So these three will be discussing. Okay, so just get yourself ready because we are going to discuss so many structures over here. So what are resins? First of all, again kind of polymers, right? Strengthyl, they have got strength. Some of them are cross-linked, some of them are linear, right? So they have got different properties. Some of them are brittle, but some of them are so strong. So basically what is the purpose of formation of these resin, formaldehyde resins is, it's basically the strength that we should impart to something, right? Some kind of a plastic if we want. So you must have seen your switches, right? Switches, it's a kind of a Bakelite resin. Novolac. Novolac again, it's a kind of a polymer which is used in the paints, high quality paints, right? You must have seen those paints which are having a plastic finish, right? So what is the advantage of that is, if we write it or if there is some kind of a stain on the wall, it gets removed very easily, again imparting a very good quality to the paint, right? Melamine. Melamine, you must have heard about this in the terms of crockery, right? Crockery substances, such kind of a beautiful finish with again very good strength, high tensile strength, high durability will be melamine formaldehyde resin. So that is what the purpose of formation is. So first of all, first one is the formaldehyde, phenol formaldehyde resin. Let's start with that. Phenol formaldehyde, as the name suggests, what should it be containing? Tell me. So first is the phenol, definitely. Let's draw the phenol. The second one, formaldehyde, it's completely visible, HCHO, yes. And there is another way of writing this HCHO so that you may be able to get the reaction very well. I am writing it in another way, see. So it will be CH2O, clear? Okay, so that is a condensed formula that I have written. what I need is a catalyst. So catalyst over here can be an acidic medium or the basic medium. Fine. What do we get here is, see, I can get three kind of products. Phenol connected with CH2OH on the ortho position. Fine. Or, so basically it's a mixture of compounds which is formed, getting connected on the meta position, or finally it will be on the ortho, right? Sorry, just remove this, not on the meta position, but here it will be on para position, right? As per the reaction only, right? We will be performing an electrophilic substitution over here. So as per that, ortho and para, right? So a mixture of products can be formed in which there will be mono substituted, di substituted and tri substituted. Let's make that. So another ortho position is also occupied over here. Done. Now, if I try to heat it up, what will happen? If I try to have n number of units of these, n units I have taken now, what will happen is, all of these mixtures, all of the mixture which is produced, it gets formed into a polymer, right? And so what kind of a polymer will that be? Let me just remove this Dacron from here. So the polymer in this case will be, see, it's very interesting and yet very easy kind of a structure. It gets joined by different CH2 units. I am joining it by different CH2 units now. Like that, right? And so and so. Clear? What is the name for this compound? It's the Novolac that we have formed. Write it down that this is Novolac, used in the paints. In fact, you must have seen the name of one paint which is Novolac. Novolac paints is there, right? Again, due to the compound which is added into it, it's the Novolac, and it is the linear chained structure which is formed. So it's a linear structure. Clear? Let's move on further. I have got this particular reaction. If I further react this Novolac, right? I am further reacting it, further heating it up. What will happen? It will develop the crosslinks. Now comes up the Bakelite, right? So it will develop the crosslinks. How? See here. So one chain will be like this, the other chain will be connected downwards. The similar chain you have to form, just like a mirror image, and connect that mirror image with CH2 in between. Do it along with me. Okay, there may be a little less space over here, so I am rubbing this off first. Okay, yeah, okay, let me just draw it over here itself, or here, okay. So OH over here, CH2 getting connected with each other. Are you able to draw that? So it's easy. Since I told you there will be a mirror image kind of a thing, but join that mirror image with CH2 groups. Yes? Next one. CH2 connections, fine. Further, I need to create a chain of it. And there will be further connections then. Connections, connections and connections. See? And one more I shall draw. like that. Okay, so that is what, you know, make these connections. These zigzag lines why I have drawn, because there can be n number of units over here and there can be n number of units over here also, and this gives a cross-linked polymer. So that is a cross-linked and is known as bakelite. Since this is cross-linked polymer, so that is a thermoplastic or thermosetting, tell me. So it's a thermosetting polymer. So it is a thermosetting one. Why thermosetting? Because whenever we try to heat it up, what will happen? These cross links which were developed, they changed, they interlinked in an inappropriate way, right? In a distorted manner. What will happen? It will get converted on heating, and it is first heated, it gets converted to a soft substance. Whenever we try to cool it down, it will be formed into an infusible solid mass. So whenever we are heating it up, it will form infusible solid mass, right? And this infusible solid mass cannot be again converted into this polymer. So that is what they are known as thermosetting polymers. One of the very prominent examples in that is electrical switches, as I told you. Electrical switches, the handles of the doors, again many of the in many of the places it is used, this particular substance, right. So this is known as the bakelite. I hope everybody is clear with the bakelite. Now we are through with the resin part number 1, that is the phenol formaldehyde resin. I am now left with the melamine formaldehyde. Let's see. Melamine formaldehyde resin. So as the name suggests, what is melamine first of all? You need to remember this, it's not that easy, right? Again a new compound to you. Let's see how the melamine looks. So this is what the melamine is. Alternately, just put the nitrogens, right? In the free spaces over here, attach NH2, right? What else? Make it a conjugated ring, double, single, single and double. Done. So that is what the melamine is. So that is melamine. Let me just represent it with a different color so that you are able to recognize it. Melamine, I hope that is visible. Now that is melamine. Formaldehyde, again CH2O, right? HCHO basically. So what I am going to do over here is a connection, that is the very first connection. This reaction is a two-step reaction. So what will happen is, see, this will get replaced, fine. There will be a kind of a condensation which will be happening in between these. So it will be drawn here. Nitrogens, place it as it is, nitrogens, nitrogens, along with, see here, NH, CH2OH will be there, right? Along with the remaining ones, NH2, NH2, put the conjugation and your work is done. Now this is what? This is the resin intermediate which is formed. So that is the resin intermediate. So this is the resin intermediate. If I try to polymerize it further, what will happen? Okay, so for that case, I am just removing it. Okay, so if I further polymerize it, polymerization occurs. That means n unit of these, what will happen? I have taken n unit of these in the presence of a catalyst, in the presence of heating. What will happen is, see, conjugations, put as it is. Now these NH2 will convert into NH, which will be further, connected with further chains, the downwards also, right? It will be further getting connected, and here what will happen is NHCH2O, right? And that is what the further connections will be made, n number of molecules will be there. What is the use of this melamine formaldehyde resin? The use in durable crockery. That is the prime use of it. Clear? And yes, different durable substances are also made, most specifically the utensils we are talking about. Clear? Okay, so that completes my resin part as well, and we are through with the entire condensation polymerization. I hope everybody has enjoyed this. If not, just go through it once again, because if you don't know something, then it appears to be hard, right? If you know it very well, then it appears to be easy. So just revise everything once again, all the reactions, quite an important ones that we have discussed today. That is again likely to come in the exam, right? Have a nice day.